Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome back to Youth Challenges. For those of you who just joined us, our discussion today is actually on marriage, and in more particular the mutual rights and obligations that a husband owes to a wife and that a wife owes to her husband. So Molana Sahb, just before the break, the question I was going to ask you was requested by one of our brothers. Now the brother requested if I could ask you, in a situation where the husband wants to tell the wife, listen, I want you to wear a hijab, or I don't want you to wear this kind of clothing, I want you to wear this kind of clothing. What is the Islamic kind of principle, the guidelines? So can a husband instruct his wife what she can and can't wear? And can a husband instruct his wife to wear a hijab?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a command in Surah An-Nur. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ. Tell believing women that reduce their gaze. Do not look at that non-mahram. And also guard their private parts. 2 hukam. Number 3, do not show their adornment. So this is also one of the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A woman cannot expose body to non-mahram. She cover, and there are the many other verses of Quran that shows that she should wrap some chadar, and she also cover her face. So how is that she can, there is no hard and fast rule, we go for this kind of hijab or this kind of hijab. Yes, if she has a modest dress, that is. But your question is that, for example, if a newly married couple and a woman is westernized and husband says, do this one, we should use hikmat here. Yes, husband can command to, because it is according to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have a modest dress and to cover yourself. But I think, sometimes if she doesn't have the realization this is a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because some people, they think that it is some sort of cultural thing, not a religious command. So that becomes a point of conflict. وَدُعُ إِلَى سَبِيلِ رَبِّكَ بِالْحِكْمَةِ وَالْمَوْعِظَةِ الْحَسَنَةِ. When you call toward your Lord with hikmat, with wisdom. So first of all, husband should realize, wife, that this is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and slowly come toward that point. Because that a person is totally another culture and come to you, and your atmosphere is totally changed. And now you think that she takes a 180-degree, the turn on a one night. So it is against, the common sense.
Yeah, definitely. So Molana Sahb, thank you for that. And I do hope that helps the brother with regards to his query. Now Molana Sahb, just to add to that a little bit, as I said, there seems to be an influence of Western culture into Islamic kind of lives. And one such thing is that the West seems to view that when a man tells a woman what she can and can't wear or how she should dress, which is in line with Islam, is seen as a sense of control. Now, how people are interpreting it is that the man is now controlling the woman and women don't have any rights. However, it is very easily arguable that in fact hijab itself is self-empowerment.
Yeah, the first thing is that, I'm just interrupt you. First thing is that it is not a command of man. If it is a command of his husband, then we say that, okay, it's a male chauvinistic society. If, for example, if husband says, don't do salah, this is a command. If he cannot have authority to say that don't do salah to wife, right? So it is not, in the Western mindset, they think that the husband try to enforce those things, those are enforcing by his own will. No, this is not his will. This is a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If his will is against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then woman is free. She will not follow the command of her husband, right? So keep in mind this point.
That's a very good point actually. And that is where I was looking to go to, because as I said, hijab is self-empowerment, which is prescribed by religion, not by the man. And at the same time, it allows a woman to be independent in a way that she is dressed and she's covered in a way which suits her own independent. It allows her to stay away from male expectations, and Islam is what has encouraged this from day one. So Molana Sahb, another question which was asked by a brother, in fact, I was asked to ask you this question, and that question is that with regards to dowry, with regards to Mehr, this seems to has become quite a controversial topic, perhaps due to social media and the in fact conflicting opinion of scholars on this particular area. So what I wanted to ask you, Molana Sahb, so as I mentioned in the beginning, with regards to marriage being like a contract, there's some implied terms and some express terms. And Mehr is actually one of those express terms where it's agreed upon both parties.
Yes.
You know, how much the Mehr is, when it's paid, for example. This is an express term to the contract of a marriage. But Molana Sahb, how would you, first of all, what would you say is the importance of Mehr? And secondly, how should the ideal Mehr be set and decided between two parties?
Yeah, Mehr is a gift. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that to give gift to each other, that makes your love. So, to provide love in your heart, the best thing, how I win your heart, to give you a gift. So your marriage starts with to winning the heart of other. And how you, because husband has an authority and having the, the earning hand. So what is the best gift? He gives some gold, he gives some, the kind of money. So this is a gift. And, gift is not any conditional, you can make a conditional gift. Yeah. What gift is like that? For example, if you ask me that I'm getting you a birthday gift, I say, no, bring that shirt, that color. No, you bring a gift by your choice. The same thing is that when we decide for this dowry, the Mehr is according to the, the status of husband. Okay. If husband is rich person, it is against his status. He says that, okay, I'll give only 200 pounds in gift. No. So then he has to give according to his status. But if a husband is poor, so he can give according to his status. Okay. And some women are so pious. Hazrat Sulaim radiyallahu ta'ala anha, she approached by one of a Sahabi Rasul, Abu Talha radiyallahu ta'ala anha. He was a very rich man, but he was not a Muslim at that time. So Hazrat Sulaim radiyallahu ta'ala anha said that, okay, you recited kalma, this is the dowry. This is a gift. This is the iman of a woman, and this is the also the other side. They give everything for woman, okay, because you are my wife. So you cannot put any condition on that gift. So this amount of gift, even once a person, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, what you have for dowry, gift? He said that I didn't have any money. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked, any clothes? He said, no, the clothes I had it, that is the clothes. So then he had a gift, verses of Quran. So this is the status of a husband. What is a status? And he gives, and you have to be mutually, with the good, faith. You will decide that one. It should not be like that, a tool for exploitation, both parties. Now nowadays, what happened from the female side? They think that it is sort of surety bound. Yeah. If I have lots of Mehr, so my husband will not give me divorce because he has to pay this Mehr. That is why. So this is sort of a surety. This is sort of security of my. I think it is against the principles of Islam. Yeah.
I do agree with you actually, and I think it's become a particular trend. In fact, in modern day, where Mehr is being set very high, and in fact, some brothers are being, they're rendered incapable of marrying due to how high the Mehr is set. Like for example, £100,000, or a house worth £300,000. Now these kind of Mehr rate provides more of a surety than a gift, and I do agree with your point on that actually. So, Molana Sahb, another thing, whilst we are on the topic of kind of financial, another question which I wanted to ask you was with regards to a husband's obligations financially to his wife and his family. What are the obligations, first of all? And secondly, with regards to the wife, when she is working, what are the husband's obligations there as well?
The obligations of a husband to provide the basic needs. What are the basic needs? Clothing, basic need is shelter, basic need is food. And on top of that, if you are providing food, if you are providing shelter, but your lifestyle is different and your wife's no. It doesn't mean that you say, okay, I'm providing this one, and you have a luxurious car and you are not giving to that car to your wife. So similar lifestyle, what you are enjoying, you have to provide to your wife.
Okay.
This is one thing. The second thing is that if your wife is earning, so the money of your wife is wholly solely is she is the owner of that money.
Yeah.
You cannot ask that to dispense this money in the house, the affairs. If she can, that is a very good thing, your mutual understanding. But you cannot ask. On top of that, she also not sacrifice her household duties. She is involved in so much in job and household duties, children are neglected. So then she thinks about that, because the basic of her duty is to take care of children.
Yeah.
So you should have to some husband, they think that okay, she is earning that you pay bill, like we live in in Western lifestyle is that you also pay. So in Islamically you cannot ask to your wife.
Yeah, definitely. And the reason I asked this particular question is because this is one such area which is contested by a lot of the brothers, especially in living in the Western society. Now, this is where I want to emphasize the fact that the sister that called in actually said it as well, we should promote our own principles. And the reason I say that is because this particular point, Molana Sahb, that a woman's income is her income solely and the husband is to provide for her. Now, this actually is where I would extend and say that this shows that a woman actually has more rights than Western women.
Yes.
And it's very clear because, in fact, in history, if we look at history, in 1848, that is when, let's say, for example, in 1848, women weren't actually allowed to have control of their own money. Whatever they would earn would go straight to their husband. Now, 1858 is not very long ago when we look at the bigger picture. And Islam, on the other hand, 1400 years ago, it already ordered that the husband is to provide for the wife.
Yeah, woman can run her own business.
Yes.
Woman can, the work. Even women can participate in war.
Yeah.
one of the Sahabiya Mara radiallahu ta'ala anha, she physically participated in war. So women can, not only for the nursing side, women can join army as well.
Yes.
So women can run their businesses, women can have a share in the properties,
Yes.
women can have a choice in marriages, women can have a right for voting. So these are all, the things that was settled. And the big names of scholars, as Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha,
Yes.
she narrated lots of ahadith
Yes.
from Aisha, and she was a teacher as well.
Yes.
She taught Sahaba Ikram.
Yes.
So there are the many big names in Islam. Unfortunately, what happened, there is a propaganda only for the looking at the outer dressing.
Yeah.
The snub you woman and you ask you woman strictly. Believe me, if you ask me practically, my daughter is doing hijab, and I asked my daughter, how do you feel? She said, I feel more secure while I'm doing hijab. Nobody could approach me because of due to hijab. This is the feeling of our Muslim movement. And they think that, no, we control women, we suppress our women, and they are very, in miserable situation. It is not like that.
Yeah, that is very false actually, and it's a big misconception. And as the sister said as well, we should promote our own principles, and our principles have always empowered the sisters from the very, the very beginning when Islam was introduced. Women have always had the empowerment, and the West, in fact, it's only been the last 100 years where they've had any kind of rights. For example, even the right to work, the right to education, the right to have businesses. These is all kind of recent developments in the West, and Islam, they reached these basic principles a long time ago. Molana Sahb, having said that, we did speak about the financial commitments of a man to his family, and you mentioned a lot about a woman working. But what I wanted to ask you there was, it's actually a question which a lot of the brothers and a lot of debates actually happen on social media regarding this, and this is can a wife work without the permission of her husband, or does she require the permission of her husband to be able to work?
Yeah, actually, that this depends upon your house situation. If husband is is not following the rules of Islam, it is very important. What happened? Some people, they are not applying the rules of Islam for himself, and they think to control women by using Islamic laws. Once a couple approached me, and wife, she said that my husband baited me. I asked that why you did it. He said that
she's not listening me. I asked that, did you do your Fajr prayer? He said no. What sort of, you are a Muslim. You try to apply the Islamic rules, and what is your situation? And now in this situation, like when Hinda, she approached to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and she said that I would like to take money of my husband without his permission. According to Islam, woman should not.
Yes.
But Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave permission. Why? Because her husband is miser, not giving money. So these are the circumstances. We cannot make an hard and fast rule. Yes, if husband is pious, if husband is providing means, then she must have the permission of her husband. But if husband is a drunken person, if husband is not taking care of a household, so what's she going to do? She start begging? No. Then she has to do that one.
Yeah, and it's actually the beautification, the beauty of Islam actually, the way it comes full circle where neither the rights of the man and neither the rights of the woman are actually, none of them are overlooked. Like for example, as you mentioned, and in fact I did read somewhere that in terms of even when a woman is giving sadaqah, she can't actually give sadaqah without from the husband's money without the husband's permission.
Yes.
And likewise, as you said, in a situation where the husband is incapable of meeting her needs and the needs of her family and the household kind of expenditures, in that situation the wife can use the husband's money without his permission. And it just shows the beauty where it is showing that both of their rights are kind of protected in any kind of situation.
Yeah.
So
both cannot exploit to each other.
Yeah.
Woman cannot exploit. For example, woman is asking such things her husband cannot afford. So it is the exploitation from the woman's side, and she forces her husband to do anything haram to earn this one. It is also a wrong thing. The other side is that if husband is not fulfilling his duties and asks that don't do this one, it is also a wrong thing.
Okay, that's perfect. So Molana Sahb, another question. Once again, a brother asked me this question was with regards to travel. Now, in his particular situation, I think it was a case that his wife wanted to go somewhere, travel without him, and his question was whether she required his permission or what was the actual Islamic ruling on that situation. So what is the Islamic ruling in a situation where a wife would like to travel without her husband?
Okay. You know what happened? When your wife is working anywhere and earning money, and she even as an air hostess, a person has no any sort of any question because the money is coming to your house. And woman goes anything and even shopping. So then we start doing, believe me, the first thing is that we have to be open-minded and we should not utilize Islamic principles as a tool. Yes, there is Islam. Why Islam says that? To give security of women, to travel women where night falls, to go far areas. Even here as well, there are the cases of rape and kidnapping when woman is alone in the night and those hours. So she should not go at that time and not go for the 2 nights and 1 night away from house. So this is the teaching of Islam. Then any mahram, any person would along with that. It is the security. Look at that. How Islam is in dealing with this is the respect of a woman. It is not like you bound you. So what you going to do? You give this security instead of you force. Okay, you don't go there. For example, if my daughter would like to go anywhere, she says that I would like to go holidays. I say no, you will not go. What is my duty? Now I plan my holidays with my daughter to protect her. So this is the answer.
Yeah, that's a very good answer, Molana Sahb. So, Molana Sahb, now this is a question which is very somewhat sensitive, but at the same time it's very necessary to ask you this question. Now, when a man and woman, they marry, now they've married, as you said, now they've created their own family. But at the same time, the wife and the husband, they have their own individual families. Now, achieving that balance where the rights of the wife or the rights of the husband are met, but also the rights of your parents are met, this is something I think is quite a big struggle for married couples. Now, what I want to ask you is, let's say, for example, there's clashing rights between the two. So in that situation, what should one do where his parents are ordering one thing, whereas his wife is requesting a different thing? So in that situation, I would have to ask you, what should the husband do in that situation?
The first of all, I'm telling you that the responsibility goes to the shoulder of man. Very important, because he is the person who can smoothly run the affairs of the house, and he cannot violate the right of his parents, and also cannot violate the rights of his wife as well. Ideally is that if he can afford that, to give wife another house, to live separately, because if you live separately, so you have many other things you cannot face in that situation. But if you live in that together, so then there is a sense of you ask your wife, you feel it like it is your family, because what happened, conflict is that your wife is not thinking that she is my mother. So if you give wife's mother the same respect, then you ask that you should give the respect to my mother as. And anything that is a conflict where parents say something and wife says something, if parent is asking is it not against Islam, then parents have more right to follow that. But the condition is that it is not against an Islamic principle. So for example, the parent says that no, to do this one, you leave your child from this madrasa, it is not Islamic right. They are using it, right?
So this actually, Molana Sahb, thank you for making that clarification, because I think this is where there is a lot of controversy, there is a lot of conflict between this area, and it was very necessary that you did indicate obviously, as you said, that the parents do get a priority in this situation, but an individual should strike to achieve balance as far as possible.
Yeah, important thing is very important, because even I know that many families, they have a rift upon when a newly born child, who will give the name of child. This is a big.
That is a
your
big
mom,
thing,
my mom, your mom, or child's mom, or child's father. So we should also have some sort of we give respect to our if I ask my the daughters as well, those who are the women, so you give respect to husband's parents if they would like to give a name. So it is not anything any harm. We give respect to our elders.
Molana Sahb, thank you for that. Molana Sahb, unfortunately, the hour never seems to be enough, especially when we're discussing topics with so much to talk about. So Molana Sahb, I think this topic in particular might require another episode, but until then, we have unfortunately reached the close of our program, and I just want to thank the viewers for tuning in today, and inshallah we are back every Sunday with a new episode. So until then, from me and Molana Amir Karim Sahb, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.